Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Ryan, how's it
Hello.
going?
It's going well.
It's
Yeah.
good.
All's well in our household. The world's sort of crumbling around us, but we're hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Good. Good.
How about you?
Same old, same old. Working on some new campaign ideas. Working on a new map for like a oh god, I never know how to pronounce this word. Is it Archipelago?
Hmm.
Which is
I
pretty
saw
exciting.
Is that what your cartography stream was? I didn't actually tune in, but I got like a notification that was like Koibu's streaming codename
Cartography.
Daedalus or something like that. Dead
Dardennes.
Dardens.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
what is the etymology of that name? Looking it
Uh
up, and it probably has some significance that you aren't aware of.
No, I was just thinking of the Dardanelles as a place,
Island
and
chain.
no, it's actually just like I think it's just a strait or something. The Dardanelles is I think it's the strait that goes through Constantinople, from the Black Sea to the other sea, maybe. I don't know. It's some aquatic feature somewhere in the world, and then there was another etymological source that I merged with it. It was Dardanelles and the thing den. I can't remember. So that's coming up. It's pretty fun. I've put my work in progress on the Regal Goblins maps page to poke around on. It's just nicer to view that way. It's gonna be pretty cool. Like
Ooh, so we can see this already on
mm-hmm.
realgoblins.com.
/maps.php. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
pretty cool. It's got 3 concentric island rings, with a large storm, tempest, whirlpool thingy going on in the middle of them. And so you've got you can go around in circles on each island chain, or you can try and go out to the next island chain or go into the closer one. But going in and out is going to be more time consuming than just going around in a circle. So you'll have 3 rings of different levels of civilization, with the closest one being the heart of the civilization on the largest islands with the largest population. And the further out you go, it gets to be a little bit more, lawless and a little bit more difficult to control.
So how do I find this on your map? Do I search for
right.
Darden?
Just
Go to the
scroll
right.
right. Yeah.
Oh, my internet. Oh, God. Wait, this is hideous. Okay, there we go. This
It's
looks
a
like
work in
Ryan map.
progress.
I see the blob. The first thing I saw was a blob that says jungle uninhabited.
Yep.
This is like
That's about right.
maybe some dwarf shit level of cartography.
Yep. It's definitely a work in progress. I think in the end, the plan is for there to be 76 islands, and I've only really completed 4 of them.
Okay, here we go. And then what's this? Are these fords up there? Is that something else?
I don't know what you're talking.
Old families, young families.
That's a dock town where there's the entrance is where those arrows are, and then the rest of it would be it's a zoomed in.
Ooh,
and that would be the channels within the bay.
Is this for a piratey campaign or whatever you call them?
Yeah, originally Mr. Mooten had said he wanted to do a pirate campaign, so I started building an area just for funsies to maybe work with that, and I got some bunch of really cool ideas. So now I'm working on it quite a bit. And there's another thing in the works as well that I'm not quite ready to talk about, but there's some things coming up. Yeah. There's another more immediate thing that'll probably be popping up in 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. That's all I've been up to. You, however, have been up to a lot more. I don't know if that's what you want to say anything on that front.
Yeah, had a baby. Well, I didn't. My wife did, but
wow,
that's where I've been. Not sleeping, getting screamed at by a tiny human.
Is it true that you haven't been sleeping? Is the lack of sleep a real thing?
Absolutely. I mean, because it needs to be fed. Sorry, she is a full-fledged human, not an it. Baby needs to eat and shit every 2 to 4 hours. So it's not that you don't sleep, it's that your sleep schedule is chopped into tiny bits, depending on how you manage your shifts and whatnot. I think it's worse for mom than for me.
Always. Yeah.
But
you getting good at changing diapers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't look sleep deprived, you know? You don't have deep bags under your eyes, or maybe that's just that touch up your appearance on Zoom that's really working overtime.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. I don't know. Bloodshot. I don't know. I mean, I've been up for, well, I guess only a few hours. I've been on baby watch since 4 a.m., but she slept from like 5 to 7. So
Nice.
that was kind of her.
Very good. Well done, kid. All right. I think that's covered all of the outside activities.
I suppose there's a lot going on outside, but I'm not going to pretend like I can make any sense of that.
Yeah. Stay away from the state capitals in a few days. But other than that, let's pick up where we left off. And for you, that's a little bit farther back in time than everyone else.
Mm-hmm. What is time, anyways?
Just a construct by the DM to create a linear experience for the players, but it doesn't really mean anything. We exist.
I mean, I guess this isn't dicing with death, but haven't we expounded on our non-linear avant-garde Dungeons and Dragons play style?
What do you mean?
I don't remember. Someone look it up in the VODs. You had a pretty funny riff on avant-garde Dungeons and Dragons, or avant-garde DMing. No prep, improvisation, roleplay jazz.
Roleplay jazz would be a great name for a campaign.
That it kind of was. It was one of JP's shows. Had a jazz in it, so
oh my god,
steer clear.
Okay, don't want to get affiliated with that guy. So I see that everyone else ended or started their solo sessions on the 17th of March in Acropolis, but I think Izual
disappeared a little earlier.
Yeah,
somehow need to explain. Hand wave.
Let's see. Was Izual around to meet Jexel?
Yes. Yeah, Jexel gave us that house thing. I think it was just one session that I missed. I haven't watched the VOD yet. It's been hard to totally avoid spoilers, but it seems like shit went down.
Oh yeah, shit went down. Greg died.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but kind of. You know.
Yeah.
Came a water spirit.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine Izual like willingly abandoning the party and humanity, their fate. So we're gonna have to handwave some pretty compelling side questing or distraction.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have no idea about the timeline because my notes are insufficient. Sure, I could look it up on the wiki, but we're gonna do it in the avant-garde style and just like play with the time, you know, figure out where he goes, what he does.
Maybe do some flashbacks. Izual is a
oh yes, I'm sorry.
Is a divine being that transcends gender and all of your other social constructs. I don't usually call you out in the full show, but you frequently misgender my character.
I do, and I appreciate you calling me out. It needs to be done.
Izual is a angel. I like a chat.
That's pretty good. Also, why do you not see? Why?
I can see the token in Acropolis.
Yeah, but there's no light around it for some reason. You just see the spot. Oh, it's because they shifted lighting. They moved on to the new fancy lighting. Bye. Son of a bitch. Vision, brightness. You should be able to see, but it doesn't.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to see, but we're fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Huzzah? Huzzah. Almost.
There was a flash, and I saw everything, and then it disappeared.
Yes. Oh my god. Directional light, total light, night vision, limited vision. Where is... We'll sort it out later. We do this? Does it do the thing I want? Okay, it's fine. You
I
are
don't think we
somewhere
need a
over
map
here.
anyways.
We don't need a map.
So where did we leave off? We left off after the Jexel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need a wiki. Oh God, it's been so long. It's been years. It might have been a reasonable stopping point, right? I think there was the ogre attack and they burned the villages and there was chaos and there were like orphaned children.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we could pick up a scene somewhere in that aftermath and that chaos where Izual gets swept off on side quests. But maybe I'll see what our last session is. Whoa.
I'm just trying to get the token to show all the things that all the people have been to.
Was that
something? Oh my God,
like,
the whole map is revealed now. What is happening?
And like my whole computer went.
Oh my God.
My screen, like, I don't know what you did, dude. The screen, like, my whole screen went black. The computer crashed. Was that Roll20? Roll20 seems glitchy enough that it could crash my entire PC.
It's possible. Clearly, the new lighting settings are not working as expected or intended. It's, oh my God. It's exploring the entire map all at once. Love it. Love it. Wish we just used the old lighting that actually just worked all the time. That'd have been nice. It's fine. We don't need a map. Who needs a map? Maps are for suckers.
I really liked in Tombs of Scoria, the tomb that you had Matt do like vignettes of or whatever scenes from. So like instead of having a map, you'd be like, there's a mossy log that you've got to cross, and it was like a chasm in his picture with a mossy log, and then it's like yeah.
I was originally trying to do a cool battle map that they'd crawl through, and then I was like, this is kind of dumb and not worth the time. Let's just have Matt draw like snapshots that I have in my mind and then give that to the players to work with, and I think that worked out really well. Good job, Matt. Everyone loves your art. You're in chat. He's probably not. Probably asleep. Got that artist lifestyle. Anywho.
Bridge. The end of winter. They hear Ogre Drung signaling their attack. We fought ogres at the end, right? They were into...
I think you disappeared right before the battle started, and the battle
there was a battle, right? That
you were AFK for.
There were two battles, I guess.
Yeah.
Built the bridge one night, right? It was me and June, and the ogres charged, and we just like crit the shit out of them. And then we ran to some village. And we got there too late, and the ogres had like torched the village. Like the attack on us was a distraction.
Right. And then there was another combat that happened afterwards where you were gone for. I think like we ended a session with like 12 ogres lining up on the like in wintertime, lining up and coming in. And we ended on the cliffhanger, and then we came back, and you guys all, well, y'all minus you, fought the ogres, and it was bloody. So I think we ended on the eve of battle, right next to the entrance to everything.
All right. And in my dreams, my slumber, I am whisked away.
Yes. So on the eve of battle, Izual is sleeping in his Jexel-made house. Their Jexel-made house. I'm so sorry. I guess you are awoken in the middle of the night.
So this house, it was like a hall, right? Was it a one building house, or do we each have our own?
I think there is like a kitchen section and like a common room section, and then a few different bedrooms.
I imagined it as like a great, like a longhouse kind of situation, like a great hall, like a big taverny type building.
Ooh,
And then do we have rooms off of that? I mean, what did...
yeah, there are rooms. People have individual rooms,
Yeah.
certainly. I think there's room for the 5 of you plus 1 or 2. There are a couple of unoccupied rooms at the moment.
Is it multiple story or is it like a single story?
I think it's single story. We'll say it's single
Have we
story.
established anything? Okay. So I was kind of imagining like a Viking style longhouse, like the bulk of it is like a big chamber with a long table for feasting and gaming in. And then there's like a half dozen or so bedrooms in the back.
Yep. And there's a kitchen section.
Wildly contradicting anything that's been done. Okay. So
I think that's fine. Run with that. So it'll be in the night. You hear something, some sort of calling, some sort of divine whisper blowing on the wind, which is non-existent because we're.
Is this in my sleep or in like my morning meditations preparations?
This is what rouses you from your sleep.
Do I sleep or am I like an elf where I like hang upside down from the ceiling and meditate for 4 hours?
You definitely sleep. I have a deep personal grudge with they don't sleep, they just meditate through the night. Fucking hate that piece of lore. It's so annoying.
Mean, it could be interesting if it was like campaign specific or something. It wasn't like codified in some like source material.
Yeah, or like delve into it in some more interesting way other than like, it's sleep, but it's not sleep, it's meditation, and that's the whole of the thing. And that just feels cheap. Like, that's such an interesting thing that
you don't want to mechanically make elves like better because they don't have to sleep. But like you also want them to be different.
Yeah, I know, but just being like, let's reclassify sleep as meditation. It's essentially the same thing, except like they're sort of awake for it. So maybe you can argue that. I fucking hate it. Every other creature on the planet sleeps. If elves are going to be so special as to not need sleep, then we should delve into that lore, and it should be a bigger sticking point in their existence. Me off. It's the like, they're dark elves. They're elves, but they live underground and they're evil. It just feels cheap.
Sounds like you should do it better.
Or just avoid it because it's a bad idea to begin with. But, that's just me.
Yeah.
Different strokes, different folks. Maybe in Ryan's campaign we'll see,
I don't know.
The bat elves who hang upside down in the day.
Yeah. We tried to explore some dark elves and it didn't go well. So different kind of dark. What would be cooler is if instead of like elves, you had like snow elves that instead of hanging out in trees, they hung out in snowy trees.
See, I can get that because that changes
they,
a core concept of them.
Giant orb to the elemental plane of ice, and I don't know. Anyways,
suck everyone into a giant toilet.
Yeah.
Spit them out the other side.
Gosh, this session is off the rails.
Yep. I think this is basically dicing with death. We should just change the overlays here. Anywho. It's winter.
Am I sleeping or is this like during morning meditation? It is winter.
It is winter. You are sleeping. You are being woken by your sleep from a voice on the wind. Although when you really come to and take a look outside, you'll notice that it is absolutely still. Snow covers the ground in all directions. There's no wind at all, but you can still hear this voice drifting in from far away, speaking a language beyond common that somehow you know, and luring you.
Do I have a window? Our bedrooms all have windows or something?
Yes.
Okay. Izual opens the window and sticks their like torso out and looks to and fro.
Out the window, you see naught but the darkness. What little light there is from the moon and stars. No, there are no stars. From the moon is being reflected off of the snow, giving you a little bit more vision than you might have in summer or another season. But it is still out there.
Donning equipment seems to break the narrative flow of being roused in the in the night and following a voice on the wind, but I feel like I can't in good conscience not put my armor and stuff on. So Izual takes a moment to prepare themselves.
It is prudent to be prepared.
Sliding a mantle of chain over their shoulders, strapping like the leather bracers on, boots, picking the long ogre spear up that's like leaning against the corner by the door.
Mm-hmm.
And in the night, Izual slips out the window and into the winter. Now that I'm outside, I think I stepped a little ways away from this building. I think it's on the outskirts of town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
crunching through the snow up into the foothills of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe 100 feet away, just to get away from the lights of the village and maybe the sounds of dogs or whatever noises there are, to see if I can hear the wind any better.
Why don't you give me a religion check? A religion check.
I think I have that skill. So, I do have religion.
I thought you did.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say perception. We don't actually have perception, but if we did, mine would be 4. That was the stat that I dropped, or that was the number that I dropped. Yes. Nailed it. I mean, I am closer to the gods than the rest of these mere mortals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a deep understanding of their ways.
The voice is feminine in nature, and it calls to your memory a distant time that is foggy and vague for you, sort of almost like trying to recollect an old dream. And you can recognize the voice surely as that of the enemy of the people you've sworn to protect, the goddess of death herself, Varasi, harbinger of doom.
Calling me.
Mm-hmm. Whispering to you.
Where is it coming from?
Why, your instincts were right. It is up the hills. Deeper into the foothills, into the mountains, she calls.
Izual walks up into the foothills. You said there's no wind?
There's no wind.
Okay, well, I would like to seek out the wind. So I wander into the foothills, following the sound, the familiar voice of death on the breeze, to its source, to treat with the enemy general in the middle of the night before battle.
Mm-hmm. You will see her perched upon an old branch from a tree. I mean, as old as a world, a few days, months old. Is
there a strong wind here?
The wind is still empty. Perched on the branch is a crow, just sitting there watching you, and you know this intuitively to be one of her many forms. This is the scavenger form of Varasi, patient, waiting, ready for you to die. She appears in situations where there are great amounts of death at hand. She often appears as like flocks of ravens or vultures or a pack of hungry dogs ready to prey on the soon to die. But right now it is a singular crow who, as you come to view it, takes wing and flies up the snowy mountain, perches on a little rock well above you and kicks some snow off, which gets picked up and blown to the side. Even though you don't feel the wind, you can see it, as the action on the snow.
Izual's mouth was agape, as if to address this goddess, but it appears she's taken wing before I have a chance to speak. And they continue up the mountain, chasing the wind.
You lose sight of her, and when you see her again, she appears before you as the warrior, an unstoppable knight standing in silence, overwhelmingly strong and sure with her movements, clad in black plate mail from head to toe, the visor down, wielding a two-handed vorpal sword in her hands, tip of it sitting in a rock. But again, she's just out of range. She's just up the mountain. You'll have to climb farther to see her.
And climb I do.
The penultimate form you run across is one more recently familiar to you, that of the architect, a clear, calm, and coldly calculating woman in her 30s or 40s. Even though she's not speaking right now, you know that when she does, she's not verbose, preferring to hear what others say before making her point. She's decisive and calm, and the architect of death and destruction, leading people quietly from a reserved place and then letting them take her guidance and bring doom to her enemies. But again, the architect is a little bit higher up on the mountains. You're, I would say, 3/4 up now. It's been maybe an hour, and yet there's still no lights on in town, or no additional lights on in town. No dogs have barked. It still seems peaceful and calm all around you as you come to view the architect on a rocky outcropping closer to the peaks.
Yeah, I guess Izual glances over their shoulder to the faint flickering torchlights of the village down below. Guess the thought crosses my mind that I should perhaps be afraid that maybe that's exactly what Ferocity is doing, is luring me into the snow up the mountains to freeze and die up here on the eve of battle when I'm most needed. But something tells me I need not fear death, that I am a master of death, and that I'm in control of the situation. Izual pants, catches their breath, resumes climbing up the architect, maybe losing their footing. I think despite their appearance, Izual is not quite as athletic and fit as they look. Kind of more, what's the word? More show than go. All charisma. So they look like a graceful warrior, built like an athlete, but when it comes down to it, not really suited to mountain climbing.
Oh.
But I think more following instincts, like seeking out the wind, Izual navigates a path up the mountain, right? So not necessarily following the path that they see with their eyes, but trying to listen to the breeze, which is still so calm.
Mm-hmm. And what little
Somewhere
bits
in
of
the
snow
distance,
you
yeah.
see falling, you can see where it blows with this non-material wind, and you can follow that path, bringing you eventually to the top, to the ridge of the mountain line, where you will see her in her final form tonight, her form of the Grim Reaper. Right now, she is a calm and quiet, young, youthful woman with a shawl around her shoulders, holding a walking stick, or a quarterstaff, I guess you would call it, in hand and leaning on it, and seems to be patiently waiting for you.
Is
you know
the terrain here such that there's like I can walk up to her and she allows me to approach?
Mm-hmm.
She wearing black robes of the Reaper?
Yeah, some sort of black or gray or navy. In the light of the night, it's just hard to tell the exact color, but they're dim, they're dark. She has this quarterstaff that she leans on. Her hair is just sort of like, long black hair that comes down behind her back. Her clothes are very simple, not much there. And she brings with you her a sort of overwhelming sense of finality, of peace. As a form where she will take you from one world to the next, not as a friend, not as an enemy, but just as a guide, bringing you from one world to the other.
Yeah. Izual approaches and stares out across at Varasi, and I think in some ways Izual appears to contrast Varasi, to be her opposite. So where Varasi is dark, Izual's robes are gray, but still the same simple aesthetic. Where Varasi's hair is dark, Izual's hair is long and silver, glimmering in the snow and in the moonlight. But on the back of Izual's robes are two enormous blood stains, originating at their shoulder. And instead of a staff, Izual has a crude ogre spear that she leans against, mirroring the posture of death and looking across. Mistress, why have you summoned me here on the eve of battle? Do you wish to parley?
Why have you left me?
There's like
my child.
It's like a twitch. It's like Izual attempts to access memories. She's like, I leave you. I don't understand.
Why have you abandoned our plan?
I do not know. It's like a step back and a look of disbelief. What plan? I feel I can almost remember, but no, your plans cannot succeed. You wish to kill these humans. Why?
Do you remember why you are? Your purpose?
Izual squints hard, keeping their eyes closed. Do I have any sort of vision or memory, or is this not making any sense?
She does not impart anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there are, as you said before, unaccessed memories that you have trouble recalling.
Maybe we get just a flash of Izual in a past light, little vignettes over the course of the conversation. But they're hard to make out. She blinks hard and steps back. What are you... What? I don't understand. What? Can you not see the light in them? They aren't like other beings. They have choice, will. How can you snuff that out?
By now, she's aged somewhat to a middle-aged woman. The quarterstaff is no longer sort of held out. It's now being sort of leaned on. Her face is still calm, quiet, tranquil, but it weighs a little bit more. It hangs on her bones just a little bit. Small wrinkles appear here and there. Her hair is dark, but there are a couple of, lighter, not quite gray shocks, but the occasional gray hairs, all still pulled back gently behind her.
Yeah, subconsciously, or Izual's posture and pose with her spear is matching that of Varasi. Although with the wrinkles, there's even more contrast from this aging woman and Izual's flawless skin. Pallid blue color, but there's not a wrinkle in sight, almost as if they were crafted from porcelain.
Mm-hmm.
And then another hard blink and a flashback. An image of Izual themselves, but different. Armed for battle, with ethereal wings and a sword of flame, and then shaken back to look out across at Varasi again. I can't remember. What are your plans? I don't understand. Why do you do this?
This was mine. This valley, this forest, what lies beyond was part of the plan that was interrupted. I am willing to forgive you if you will come back to me. Return to me.
Back.
Slay these creatures.
And I think at this, we get another flashback of Izual, armed for battle, flaming sword in hand. And, but instead of their perfect face, they have a mask of bronze, the visage of an Oni, an ogre. And before them, horrific, misshapen creatures, monstrosities falling before the might of a flaming blade. And then back to Verasi,
who is older again. Now an old woman, her skin and flesh really hangs from her bones, dripping, almost melting like wax off of her. Her walking stick, her quarterstaff, is now a curved walking stick, which she leans upon quite heavily, hunched forward slightly. The shawl has grown in size and length and is now pulled up over her head, little fringe dipping down in front of her. The hair has gone stark white now.
Izual also leaned forward against her spear, hunched, reeling from these visions. Maybe the hood. What?
Their spear.
Their spear. Did I say his?
You said hers.
Hers, his, its. I must have stolen the spear from a female ogre.
There we go.
Her spear.
Got it.
And now maybe hair colors somewhat matching. Verasi's graying hair looking starkly similar to Izual's silver.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a final vision, a flashback of from Izual's perspective, looking around down at the flaming sword, at the butchered remains of these demons at their feet, and then to the flank and over a shoulder to see their compatriots, tall and strong ogres at their side. And then back to reality, up to face Verasi.
And here she is now just a skeletal form holding a great scythe, no longer leaning on it. The shawl turned into full robes draping over the body that is not but glistening bone. She no longer speaks to you, but the eye sockets stare into you. You can feel the disappointment that as your memories return, you have not immediately changed sides to join her. The Grim Reaper points its scythe down towards the little hut you can see way down at the bottom of the mountain. There must be one light on in one of the rooms that makes it stand out against the sea of darkness. And you know intuitively that the scythe pointed in that direction is a request for you to step down there, slay them all.
Izual stands beside Death, looking down the mountainside. No, even if this valley was to be yours, it's not right now. These humans, these mortals, they're something different. Something great. I remember now why I was supposed to lead the assault against them, but I remember now why I changed sides. I don't know how I found it in me to find a will of my own. Perhaps it is these mortals, the spark of freedom used to create them, awaken something in me.
soft aquamarine light begins to shed from her sockets. Though.
Izual looks down at the light in one of the windows, maybe instinctually knowing that it's June's. That Ferocity is pointing to. No, you can't take him. He's to be our champion. Their champion. The great warrior. Poet. The artist who paints with blood. How do you not see what he can become? Look upon him with your favor.
The light begins to swell and cover the rest of the body, creating a wraith-like image of a woman. The old form that she was in moments ago, but color is lost. It's just this aquamarine, translucent visage, and as the bones crumble, you can see the calmness recede, and rage, despair, frustration appear in the eyes of the banshee before you. And then she unleashes the frustration that she has been feeling over her betrayal of you. This loud, screaming wail that hits you not just, with sound, but a physical force that knocks you off your feet, knocks you off the mountaintop.
Is the wind still calm, or can we consider this scream to be the equivalent of a strong wind?
It is absolutely the equivalent of a strong wind.
Yeah. So I think we get maybe a flashback of Izual's wings, as with but an utterance, they recall who they are, their angelic nature, and I don't know where Ferocity's scream pushes Izual, but their fall is cushioned. A column of wind conjured up beneath them, slowing their descent.
You begin to fall when you feel wings return to your back. Something between your shoulder blades holding you, pulling you. And you can see to either side great raven-like wings expanding from your shoulders, reaching out, covering a grand, 30-foot wingspan, and pulling you, lifting you, and carrying you beyond the valley, southward, beyond the mountain range, the hills and the plains.
Oh, Izual screams and flails. No! Part of it pain of between the shoulder blades. Part of it reaching out back to the valley below, to the disappearing lights of the village and humanity. And,
you cross a vast distance in this sort of carried-like state. Eventually, I think you realize that these wings are not yours. Your wings are still indeed gone, but you are being carried by her in her scavenger form. The crow has bitten you on your back and flies with you south in the same sort of anger and rage from the banshee's scream, depositing you on a mountain top again, some 100 miles-ish to the south, across a vast open plain, and leaving you there, dropping you face first onto a rock face and flying away, removing you from the upcoming battle, extricating you from the situation where you might be able to thwart her plans.
Izual wails. Barassi! Why? Come back here!
But the raven...
Whirling around, spear in hand.
Mm-hmm. The raven is gone. You find yourself on a mountaintop. The surreal aspect of this diminishing as the sun rises. The wind picks up a little bit. Snow blows around you as you look down to the valley not the valley, but the plain below. And I think this is where we'll take our first break. We'll come back with more Izual on the other side.